Good afternoon again. I am Erin Elmore in for John Tobacco today. He's out in Utah, so you are with me in Philadelphia and all over the world, anywhere you're tuning in or listening. I have a great guest with me now. I can't wait to get down and dirty with her because she is not only a financial and economic expert, but she also knows all things Trump as a member of Trump Victory Finance Committee. And her name is Kristin Bianco. Kristin, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I love it. Well, I know you're the perfect person to ask about the enthusiasm for Trump. We can see the support, okay? It's evidenced not by these skewed polls, but through rallies, in boat parades, and the Trump signs that we see where people aren't afraid, but where they have the ability to talk and express themselves. Joe Biden does not have this. People don't even show up when he comes out. Is this enthusiasm translating into dollars for the campaign?
Oh, my goodness, it absolutely is. I was first involved with the fundraising back in February. And, it was just the general enthusiasm that we have for our president. But now there's kind of a sense of urgency because we've seen, first of all, we've suffered through a summer that has, we've seen the violence that has happened. You can't just go out and defund the police and expect to live a peaceful life in a civilized society. And the corruption that we're finding out about with the Obama-Biden administration, there's a sense of urgency for 4 more years of Trump, because if we don't, we may never get to the bottom of that, and people may never be held accountable. And then, there's also, we have 2 very flawed candidates. Joe Biden doesn't really know what state he's in or what office he's running for. And that makes people really, really nervous. So whereas back in February, we were calling people to raise money, people are actually reaching out to people like me and to other people on the campaign to donate. And, we've all just been through a pandemic. These are not necessarily people who have a lot of money to give, but they're worried. Right. And they just want to do anything they can to ensure a Trump victory.
So you spoke of having flawed candidates. I think everyone can admit that, even as the biggest Trump supporters in the world. The debate was difficult, to say the least. How did the debate impact your fundraising? What was your take on everything?
Well, with the debates, I think we realized, I think the debates actually helped the Trump campaign, because we realized how evasive they are about the issues. They don't want to talk about the issues. They don't want to talk about what they're going to do. And I think that they're very condescending. And, they always seem to underestimate the intelligence of the American people. For some reason, they think that Americans are not going to see through that. They're not going to, they're just going to forget that they don't answer the questions. And that's so not true. They really do underestimate the Americans. And, Hillary Clinton's campaign did this last time. You would think that they would have learned from their mistakes, but they really haven't. They're kind of making the same mistakes all over again.
Right. Well, you're totally right, because Joe Biden for a long time was hiding in the basement, not going to the important key swing states. That was a Hillary move through and through.
Exactly.
And I think he's learning from that. Focusing on the first family for a little bit, you were in DC fundraising with the family, I think last week. What was your experience on the ground, and what is the family telling you?
They're telling us what we're all feeling, which is when I worked on the campaign in 2016, I remember feeling that there was a passionate undercurrent for President Trump. This time, there is a groundswell of enthusiasm. And that doesn't mean that we're all out there talking about it, because if anything, we're even more afraid because of all the violence that we've seen over the summer towards Trump supporters. Many of us are even more quiet. But you've seen all the boat parades, the road rallies, and these are not just on the weekends anymore. We had 30,000 cars in Miami over the weekend. We had thousands and thousands of cars in Michigan, Ohio. They're all over the place. And even in Long Island, where I am, which is a strong Democratic area, they had the Daily News, which is the New York paper, had to finally come out and admit that there was hidden love, they called it, for the president. So it's out there. And, the polls and the markets seem to be assuming a blue wave. but they got that wrong with Brexit. They got it wrong with the Trump victory. So we can't really look to that anymore.
I completely agree. I was in Florida this summer, which was very red, and now I'm back in Philadelphia, which is very blue. And it was nice to see that juxtaposition. And you know what also is juxtaposed, if you will, is the kindness. The people in the red state of Florida were kind and treated each other with respect and held a door for someone. I had to go to a store yesterday with my small child with me, and dealing with the vitriol and negativity of people in blue states, it can wear on you, but I'm refusing to allow myself to become a victim of that. That's a little aside, but I'm sure you see it also on Long Island, just the negativity within people that are Democrats, I hate to say.
Yeah, no, it's true. And they don't want to talk to you. You know, that's the other thing. They don't want to have a conversation. They just want to shut it down. So I find that's flawed in and of itself.
It's so true. I know it's an aside, but it's so true. And just pivoting a little bit to, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? You know, during his presidential campaign in 1980, Ronald Reagan asked that of the American people. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Right. Since then, this question has really been a standard when people are running for office. Gallup's most recent survey found a clear majority of registered voters, 56%, saying that they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. Right. This is all in spite of the coronavirus and the lockdowns. As a financial expert, what do you make of all of this?
Well, it's true, and the people who aren't writing about it aren't experiencing it, but they're the minority. You know, the average person is experiencing that. We saw blue collar wages went up much higher than the top 10% wage earners under Trump. We are better off than we were. You have millennials who experience competing job offers and bonuses, that no one ever experienced in the Obama years, because the job market really just was never that robust. Right. So yeah, we are better off, and which is incredible considering we've just been through, a pandemic where many people have lost their jobs. But the economy is coming back. Today, there were plenty of better than expected earnings. Mm-hmm. People are able to make their credit card payments, which is really amazing. But it speaks to the strength of the economy. It
does. And you say that the economy is coming back. I'm a huge fan of Steve Mnuchin. You got to let me know if you are too. I think he's great. I think he's got some.
Yes,
I think he's got nerd swagger. I love someone that's really smart and has just a sort of a fun edge to him. I think he's great. Having said all of that, that's an aside. But do you think we need another stimulus package?
Well, it would speak to the strength of the economy if we didn't, right?
I agree.
So I don't know. I think what we need is maybe some more help for some of the sectors that have been really badly damaged, like the airlines, the hotels. I think maybe if it's more specific rather than a general stimulus package, is probably more important at this point.
Right, because some of the general stimulus was thwarting people from getting jobs and finding the help they needed because they were making more money on the unemployment, if you will. So that makes total sense. I think it should be targeted because then people that have jobs available can fill those jobs, and then we can stimulate the economy naturally. Also today in the news, Amy Coney Barrett's hearings. Do you think they're going to have any impact on the markets?
No, I don't think so, because I think she will be confirmed. I think this is just kind of like a big campaign event, really.
Yeah.
Because the Democratic senators are talking a lot about health care, and really kind of avoiding her merit for the job. So it's really kind of a waste of time.
But you know what? Yesterday, when I watched, at least, when they had all the pictures of children there that allegedly would be impacted if the Affordable, aka Unaffordable Care Act was abolished. I mean, that was such a dog and pony show about healthcare with, what's the long play there? Because we don't even know if that's going to happen. The Supreme Court hasn't even heard this case yet. But I mean, it was a lot of pomp and circumstance, much to do about nothing. And like you said, would you call that a campaign event?
Yeah, it was a campaign event. Yeah, I mean, with the pictures of people who would have been impacted, it was propaganda, really.
I completely agree with you. Well, I appreciate your time today, Kristin Bianco. Let's do it again. I think we should get together and make some fun. I know you're a Trumpette. I would like to be considered a Trumpette too. We can have some fun with like-minded ladies.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me today. I'll follow you on social media.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you.
And we'll connect. Thank you for your time.
Okay, great. Thanks.